The chamber was a cathedral of obsidian and light, a mausoleum built for the echoes of fallen empires. Shards of obsidian, vast as continents, rose from the floor, their polished surfaces reflecting the flickering, ethereal glow that emanated from the bioluminescent fungi cultivated along the colossal walls. A chorus of whispers, a symphony of apprehension, slithered through the air, carried by the ventilation systems that breathed through the chamber. The Xylar Council, the supreme governing body of the Krill Dominion, held its breath. At the center of the chamber, suspended within a shimmering force field, pulsed a visual rendering of a planetary system, a blue and green marble swirling against the cosmic void. Earth. The silence, thick and suffocating, was broken only by the rhythmic thrum of the force field generator and the nervous clicking of claws on the polished obsidian floor. Xylar General Xylthar, his chitinous exoskeleton gleaming under the artificial light, shifted uncomfortably. His mandibles, usually locked in a stoic expression of authority, twitched with a nervous energy that betrayed his unease. He turned towards the central display, the image of Earth a cruel mockery of the Dominion's ambition. "The anomaly persists," he rasped, his voice a gravelly echo in the vast chamber. "The probes continue to return nothing. The planet is empty." Devoid of the anticipated resources, of any trace of the rumored slave races, the expeditionary force has reported no contact, no sign of the targets. Across the chamber, Grand Arbiter Vilstra, her multifaceted eyes narrowing, offered a low, humming counterpoint to Xylthar's concern. "Impossible. The sensors are definitive. The data streams were clear. The stellar nurseries, the abundant planetary resources, the perfect conditions for servitude. The reports must be flawed, misinterpreted. The scouting fleets are undoubtedly still seeking. Patience, General. This anomaly must be resolved." Her tone, usually laced with the placidity of a lifetime of diplomatic maneuvering, now held an undercurrent of barely concealed anxiety. The Grand Arbiter knew, as did all present, that the economic stagnation of the Krill Dominion was reaching a critical point. The need for new resources, for new slaves to bolster the dwindling workforce was paramount. Failure was not an option. But the silence that followed Vilstra's words was more telling than any denial. The collective unease hung heavy, a palpable presence within the council chamber. For decades, the Krill had traversed the void, their civilization built on the subjugation of lesser species. Their war fleets were legendary, their technological prowess undeniable. Yet Earth, a planet seemingly hand-picked by the stars for its potential, had yielded nothing but emptiness. It was a cosmic insult, a slap in the face of their ambition. The Council, accustomed to swift victories and effortless conquests, now faced the unsettling prospect of failure. The failure to find any trace of intelligent life, any sign of the rumored humans, is perplexing, murmured Councillor Xylar, a veteran diplomat with a reputation for insightful analyses. The initial scans suggested a nascent civilization, ripe for exploitation. We planned for the immediate acquisition of this species, this apparent bounty. Instead, silence. It is not within my expectations, a puzzle as yet unsolved. Perhaps, offered another counselor, his voice cold and devoid of emotion, they are simply cunning, hiding, waiting for a moment to strike. If that is so, they will discover their deception was ill-advised. This sparked a wave of dissent. The mere suggestion of the potential for resistance caused a ripple of alarm through the assembled Krill. A war with an unknown enemy, especially on its own home world, was a nightmare scenario. The Krill, though formidable, were not invincible. They had faced defeats before. The memory of the Silken Wars still stung the elder members of the Council. Xylthar, ever the pragmatist, stepped forward. "We must reassess. Abandoning the expedition is unacceptable. We have invested vast resources, deployed significant forces. We cannot retreat without answers. I propose a new directive, a complete orbital and surface scan employing every sensor available. We must find them. If they are hiding, we will force them to reveal themselves." The Council murmured in agreement. It was the only viable course of action. They could not return empty-handed. They had to find these humans, and the Krill, fueled by their ambition and their desperation, would not rest until they had achieved their goal. The hunt was on. Days bled into weeks, weeks into months. The Krill Expeditionary Force, a vast armada of warships and exploration vessels, conducted a meticulous search of the planet. They deployed probes, deployed drones, deployed everything. They scrutinized every mountain range, every ocean trench, every atmospheric fluctuation. They found no cities, no civilizations, no evidence of life beyond the primitive organisms that clung to the surface. It was as if the planet had been deliberately scrubbed clean, the inhabitants vanished into thin air. Reports, filled with confusion and frustration, flooded back to the council chamber. The initial arrogance of the Krill began to erode, replaced by a growing sense of bewilderment. Was this a cosmic joke, a cruel trick of fate? The anomaly is not merely a lack of intelligent life, Valstra announced to the council, her voice now a low, mournful tone. It is absence. The very fabric of reality seems to shift, to evade our senses. She gestured towards the holographic display, which shimmered with static. The planetary defenses, the atmospheric composition, all are altered. Our sensors are registering fluctuations beyond known parameters. The Krill, masters of their craft, were baffled. They knew only how to conquer. They did not know what to do in the face of what they perceived as the bizarre. Zylthar, however, remained resolute. We cannot abandon our mission. We must find a way to circumvent this enigma. I propose direct contact. If they are hiding, they are also observing. We will reveal ourselves. We will broadcast our intentions. We will demand their surrender. The council hesitated. The risks were undeniable, but the desperation was greater. They had no other option. The Krill fleet under Zylthar's command transmitted a message of demand. The message, translated into a universal format, was simple. Surrender. We are the Krill Dominion. Resistance is futile. The Krill waited. Days turned to weeks. Nothing. The planet remained silent, its secrets locked behind a veil of mystery. Then one day something extraordinary happened. A response. A single, elegant vessel, unlike any the Krill had ever encountered, emerged from the Earth's atmosphere. It was a sleek, silver craft, its design a perfect blend of form and function. It moved with a grace and speed that defied Krill sensors, its trajectory precise, its intent unclear. The vessel seemed to shimmer, as if a part of it was not entirely solid, as if the ship was defying physics itself. The Krill held their collective breath. The vessel approached the Krill flagship, a massive warship that served as the center of operations. The vessel emitted a series of pulses, a communication signal. The Krill's linguists worked feverishly to decipher the message, to understand the intent of the unknown species. After hours of intense analysis, a translator algorithm finally cracked the code. The message was simple, direct, and utterly unexpected. Greetings, we are the humans. We have observed your presence. We invite you to parley. The council chamber erupted into chaos. The audacity, the arrogance of the humans was staggering. They dared to invite them to parley. The Krill, the conquerors of countless worlds, were being negotiated with. Zylthar, however, saw an opportunity. It could be a trap, but it also could be an opening. He was a general after all. He knew when to strike. He also knew when to listen. Respond, accept their offer, but be prepared for anything. A delegation handpicked by Zylthar was assembled. They were the best of the Krill, the most experienced diplomats, the most skilled translators, the most battle-hardened warriors. They were tasked with one mission, to understand the humans and to determine their true intentions. The Krill delegation, escorted by a small contingent of warships, rendezvoused with the human vessel. The vessel, as beautiful as it was a master class in the ability to project peace, an art unknown to the Krill. They docked and then were brought into a pristine chamber that was as devoid of weapons as it was free of fear. The humans, they discovered, were unlike anything the Krill had ever encountered. They were a diverse species, composed of various races and ethnicities. They possessed a remarkable blend of physical and intellectual capabilities. They were not monolithic like the Krill, who had always been a unified race. They were open. The leader of the human delegation was a woman named Dr. Anya Sharma. She was tall, with piercing eyes and a calm, confident demeanor. She radiated a sense of peace that was both intriguing and unnerving to the Krill. "Welcome," she said, her voice clear and precise. "We have been expecting you." The Krill delegation stood, rigid and wary. They found themselves utterly at odds with the setting. The environment was not a place built for battle, instead of a location made for conversation. "We are the Krill Dominion," Zylthar said through his translator, his voice resonating with authority. "We came to Earth seeking resources." Dr. Sharma nodded. "We are aware of your intentions." "Then you understand our demands," Zylthar continued, his mandibles twitching. "We require your cooperation." Dr. Sharma smiled, a gesture the Krill found difficult to interpret. "We are willing to cooperate, but not in the way you expect." The Krill exchanged glances. This was not the expected response, not in the least. Dr. Sharma led the Krill delegation on a tour of their vessel. They showed the Krill the various compartments and chambers that made up the vessel, including the living quarters, the observation decks, and the engineering section. The Krill observed the technology. But more than that, they watched the humans at work. The humans were not simply skilled, they were also collaborative. They approached problems with an efficiency that was both innovative and effective. The Krill were shown the vastness of human knowledge, the depth of their understanding. They were able to use technologies the Krill could not grasp, despite having spent their lives at war. The Krill soon realized that the humans were not the simple, primitive species they had assumed them to be. They were a far more complex species with an advanced understanding of the universe. "We have studied your civilization," Dr. Sharma said as they stood upon the observation deck. "We have analyzed your history, your culture, your technology." "And?" Zalthar asked, his voice laced with suspicion. "And we find your society flawed," Dr. Sharma said gently. The Krill bristled. "Flawed? The Krill were the masters of the galaxy. Your obsession with conquest, your reliance on slavery, your lack of compassion, all these things will ultimately lead to your downfall." "Your words are insulting," Zalthar spat. "Not insulting, objective," Dr. Sharma corrected, her voice unwavering. "We are not interested in fighting you. We are not interested in enslaving you. We are interested in understanding, and in helping you avoid the mistakes you have made." The Krill were stunned. This was not the response of a conquered race. This was the response of equals. The humans then revealed their strategy, their plan, their purpose. They revealed a strategy the Krill had not even considered. "We have observed the challenges you face," Dr. Sharma continued. "The depletion of your resources, the stagnation of your society. We understand that your empire is on the brink. We can show you how to solve your problems. We can show you how to move forward." The Krill could not believe what they were hearing. The humans revealed that they were not interested in wealth, resources, slaves, or power. They sought only knowledge, understanding, and the advancement of the universe. The Krill, who had always looked down on other races, now found themselves at the mercy of a species that was determined to teach them a lesson. The humans were offering them a new path, a new direction, but there was a catch. "We will not offer you our knowledge freely," Dr. Sharma stated calmly. "You must earn it." Zalthar stepped forward. "And how do we earn it?" "By demonstrating your capacity for change," Dr. Sharma replied. "By abandoning your obsession with conquest and slavery, by embracing cooperation and compassion." It was a challenge, a difficult challenge, but the Krill, desperate and facing their own mortality, knew they had no choice. They had to accept. Zalthar paused and then made his decision. "We accept," he said, his voice echoing in the chamber. "We will attempt to change." And so began an unprecedented era of cooperation between the Krill and the humans. The humans provided the Krill with the technology and the knowledge they needed to revitalize their civilization. They assisted the Krill in establishing sustainable resource management practices, eliminating the need for conquest. They helped the Krill transform their slave-based economy into a collaborative society. The transformation was slow and painful, but the Krill persevered. The Krill learned to cooperate, to trust, to empathize. They learned the true meaning of peace. As the Krill society underwent its drastic changes, so did its relationship with the humans. The Krill, initially wary and suspicious, grew to respect and even admire the humans. The humans were not only brilliant scientists and engineers, but they were also skilled diplomats and teachers. They also helped the Krill understand the greater problems the universe was facing, something the Krill did not even consider. The Krill learned that it was not enough to be strong. It was necessary to be wise. One day, years after the first contact, Dr. Sharma approached Zalthar. By this time, Zalthar was not only a general, but a respected statesman. He had overseen the vast transformation of the Krill society, and he had helped the Krill become a respected and peaceful society. "General," Dr. Sharma said, "we have something to show you." Dr. Sharma and Zalthar entered a small, nondescript chamber. Inside, several other Krill and humans, all scientists and engineers, were waiting. The air was thick with anticipation. "We have discovered something of great significance," Dr. Sharma announced. "A signal. An ancient signal emanating from a distant galaxy. The signal has been consistent for thousands of years. It is a beacon, an invitation. A signal left behind by a species the humans called the progenitors." The progenitors. The name sent a chill down the spines of the Krill. They were a mythical race, a civilization of unimaginable power and influence. They were rumored to have seeded the galaxy with life, to have shaped the very fabric of reality. They were also believed to be extinct. "We believe this signal is a key," Dr. Sharma continued. "A key to unlocking the secrets of the universe. A way to transcend the limitations of our current reality. The signal is calling for an alliance." The Krill, who had already changed so much, were now forced to consider another change. The Krill were now facing something much bigger than the Krill and the humans. The humans offered to partner with the Krill, combining their intelligence and technology. They prepared for a mission, a quest into the unknown. Zalthar, his mandibles set and his voice calm, spoke. "What is the objective of this mission?" "To meet the progenitors," Dr. Sharma stated. "To learn what they have to teach us, to understand the mysteries of the universe. And if they are hostile, we are prepared for any eventuality," Dr. Sharma assured him. "But we believe in the power of cooperation even with the unknown." The Krill and the humans, united in their pursuit of knowledge, prepared for their journey. They launched their combined fleet, a testament to their newfound alliance. They prepared to travel to the furthest reaches of the galaxy in pursuit of an ancient mystery. They would follow a trail leading to a race that was not just powerful but also impossible. The journey was long and arduous. The Krill and the humans navigated the treacherous currents of interstellar space, their ships weaving through the cosmic dust and radiation. They were together, sharing the burden. They faced many dangers along the way: rogue planets, hostile aliens, and the relentless forces of space. They had to confront the fear of the unknown. They faced the constant fear that they would fail, but they persevered, driven by their shared dream. Finally, after what seemed like an eternity, they reached their destination. They had reached a star system that the signal indicated. They were on the doorstep of the progenitors. As they approached the planet, their sensors began to go wild. The readings were off the charts. The planet was bathed in an energy the Krill had never seen before. It shimmered with a light. As they got closer, they saw it. It was not a planet. It was a vast, colossal structure, a megastructure of unimaginable size and complexity. It was a monument to the progenitors, a testament to their power and ingenuity. As they entered, the Krill and humans were overwhelmed by the architecture of the structure. The architecture was of a scale they couldn't fathom. The structure was the size of many stars. They docked at the station and walked into the grandest chamber they had ever seen. The room, vast and sprawling, was lit by the same ethereal glow. The Krill and the humans waited, their hearts pounding in anticipation. Then the progenitors arrived. They were not what the Krill had expected. They were not some godlike beings of pure energy as the Krill had imagined. They were simply beings. They were a race of living beings, similar to the Krill and the humans, but different. They were made of flesh and blood. They were mortal. They appeared as an ancient civilization with wrinkled skin and stooped bodies. They were a race that was clearly aging. They welcomed the Krill and humans. They explained their story, their mission. The Krill and the humans listened, hanging on every word. The progenitors said that they had created life. They explained how they were not gods, but just scientists. The progenitors saw that the galaxies were doomed. They saw an end that was inevitable. Progenitors had discovered a terrible truth. A cosmic catastrophe was approaching, a cosmic horror that would consume the entire universe. And it was inevitable. There was no way to stop it. It was simply the end. The progenitors explained that they had done what they could. They had sent out a signal, the message. They tried to save as many civilizations as they could, but they knew it wasn't enough. They had made a final, desperate attempt. "We failed," one of the progenitors said in a voice that was weary. "We were not strong enough. We could not stop it." The Krill and the humans, their minds reeling from the truth, had to consider the reality they faced. The Krill and the humans were stunned by the revelation. The mission, the sacrifices, the very fabric of their existence felt trivial. "What is it?" Zalthar asked, his voice barely a whisper. "What is this catastrophe?" The progenitors hesitated. "It is not for your race to know," one of them said. "It is beyond comprehension. It would break you. Your minds could not handle the truth." But the humans insisted. They had come so far, they could accept the truth. They deserved to know. Finally, the progenitors relented. They showed the Krill and the humans a vision, a terrifying vision. The vision was the end. It was the universe being consumed by a cosmic fire. The vision was so terrible, so horrific, that the Krill and the humans could barely endure it. When the vision ended, the Krill and the humans were shaken to their core. Zalthar, still reeling from the revelation, turned to Dr. Sharma. "What do we do?" Dr. Sharma met his gaze. "We have a choice." "What is our choice?" Zalthar asked. "We can give in to the despair," Dr. Sharma said. "We can give up and succumb to the end, or we can do something more," Dr. Sharma said. "We can fight." The Krill and the humans agreed. They would not give in. They would not surrender. They would fight for survival, for life, for the universe. The Krill and the humans, united in their shared purpose, chose to face the end. They would stand united like an alliance of two races. They learned all they could. They studied the progenitors, their technology, their knowledge. They learned what they could do. They learned that the progenitors had left behind something more. They left behind one last gift. The progenitors told the Krill and the humans of a weapon that could be the only hope, a weapon that was capable of stopping the catastrophe. But the weapon was incomplete. It could not be fully activated. It would require the cooperation of many different species across many galaxies. The Krill and the humans knew what they had to do. They had to find the weapon. They had to gather the species. They had to activate the weapon. They had to save the universe. The Krill and the humans, the former conquerors and the unexpected ambassadors, embraced the new reality. They would leave the regret of their initial failure. They would go forward with a new purpose. They would spread out to meet all the galaxies. "We will travel to the ends of the universe," Zalthar declared. "We will make contact with every civilization. We will not be conquerors. We will be allies." Dr. Sharma smiled. "We will build a new future." The Krill and the humans set off on a new mission. Their ships were refitted, their armaments upgraded. They would embark on a new quest. They would seek out other species. They would offer them the same deal they had accepted. They would share their knowledge. They would offer them the alliance. They would fight to save the universe together. As the Krill and human fleets warped away from the progenitor's megastructure, Dr. Sharma looked at the swirling galaxy filled with stars and life. She felt a profound sense of hope, a sense of wonder, a sense of unity. The Krill and humans had arrived seeking slaves. They had come to Earth searching for wealth, for power, for conquest. They had left with a galaxy-spanning mission. They had nothing but regret, but now they carried something more. "We came here for slaves," Zalthar reflected, his voice a low rumble. "But we found something more, we found a purpose." "And a future," Dr. Sharma said, her voice filled with optimism. The Krill and the humans set forth. Their destination was the unknown. Their purpose was survival. Their path was the alliance. They would face their fate together. The universe was at risk, but they would face it. They would not give in. As their ships warped out of the progenitor's star system, the Krill and the humans embarked on their mission. Their mission would begin. Their mission would be to find other races. It would be to unite them. It would be to fight the cosmic horror. It would be their last hope. As they left, a message was sent to Earth. The message was simple. "The galaxy awaits. The universe is calling." The Krill and the humans, the former conquerors and the unlikely allies, traveled to the stars. The universe was their future. It was their fate. They would not give up. They would not surrender. They would fight. They would fight to the end. Their fight had begun. Their new beginning was now. And as the last Krill warship and human vessel warped into the vast expanse of space, the grandest of questions remained. Had the Krill and the humans learned enough? Would they succeed? Would they be able to save the universe? Only time would tell. But one thing was certain. The universe had never seen anything like them before, and the universe might never be the same again.